Okay, so I want to talk briefly about how to make money from fix and flip in the US and other locations. Okay, but I'm going to focus more on the US market. So how do you do fix and flip when it comes to real estate? So welcome again, good to have you guys here. I'd like you to tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. So I had a very fantastic class yesterday, and I promise that from today I'm going to be sharing with you the types of real estate you can do here in the US. But again, like I said, just using US as a template, you can do this in other countries as well. A little bit adjustment here and there, but the principles are almost the same. Now, so where are you joining from? Adeola, where are you joining from? Okay, so tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. Motive photography cannot be Adeola except if your wife is the one handling the handle. Samuel Obadero, hey, you're my life today. How have you been? Kai from UK, welcome. Nonso from Enugu, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining today's show. So how do you make money from fix and flip? Like I said, the concept, I'm using US as a template, but don't say, oh, I can only do this, might not work. No, this works. You can replicate the same model in other locations as well. So let's get to start. Okay, Adeola from Sam. Okay, my regards to Samuel Obadero. By the way, Adeola is his wife. Pius from Edo State, welcome. Prosper from Nigeria, we're in Nigeria. All of you are welcome and thank you for joining. As more people join, feel free to tell me your name, your city, and what is fix and flip. So fix and flip is the American parlance for what we call flipping in the real estate business. And what is flipping? It means you buy a property, most often a property that is old, that is in bad shape, and you renovate the property with the purpose of selling it, okay, and removing your construction cost, your cost of purchase, and have a very good, a decent profit, okay. That is the ultimate goal. So you are not buying that property to hold, you're buying that property to fix, renovate, and sell it. But I'm going to of course, be a bit detailed and share with you some of the warning signs. As much as, we have a culture of just rushing certain opportunities, right? And right now I notice that everybody fix and flip, fix and flip is what I hear from everyone. But again, this is why I always advocate training. Those who train will reign. If you're not properly trained and you jump into fix and flip, you forget something called what we call carrying cost, holding cost, retaining cost, and of course, even closing cost. So sometimes there are a lot of costs that eventually come into this business. Now, this is not why you shouldn't do it, but this is something you should be conscious of and factor into what you're trying to do. Because like I said, a lot of time we don't have a comprehensive view about what we want to do, and we end up losing big time. So fix and flip means you look for a property that is already is functionally obsolescence, is suffering from functional obsolescence, and it's also I'm suffering from several types of obsolescence anyway. And usually, I give you a practical example. You buy this property, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, maybe it's going for $100,000, but the true worth of that property is $180,000, assuming it was to be in a good shape. And so you put in maybe another $20,000 to fix it and put it in a very good shape, okay? And you are now able to sell the same property for what? For $180,000. So what's your profit in this scenario? Okay, well, how much is your profit? Can anybody type? So I bought the property $100,000. I renovated it for for $20,000, and then I'm able to sell the property for $180,000. How much is my profit? I ask you questions like this so that I'm sure you guys are following and we're able to have a very good time. Okay. Thank you, TJ Rich Forever. So my profit is $60,000 on a deal like this, and I have a good $60,000 to smile with. However, should I start with the good news or bad news of fix and flip? Okay, so if you want me to start with good news, type good news. If you want me to start with the bad news, type bad news. By the way, I'll tell you both. Again, I will also emphasize, again, this is a disclaimer I keep shouting, but they're important. Don't go into any of these businesses without proper training. Okay? Don't do it. Get good training. Understand the business. Understand the pros and the cons before doing it. So that you watch this video is no guarantee that you will then succeed if you go into the business. Okay? This video is just to show you that, oh, this kind of opportunity exists and that you can take advantage of it. So most of you says bad news, while some say good news. So I'll start with the bad. I think we had more people on the bad first, then we'll go to the good. So let's go with the bad. The bad news of fix and flip is that if you got that property, let's say in good market, the housing market is doing very well, and by the time you're done with renovation, you've entered a bad market. Like we currently have a bad market in the real estate sector at the moment. And again, let me not go into that, but let me just mention it. Bad market is relative, again, to the knowledge that you have. I love to move in a bad market. Okay, the best time I love to buy real estate is in a bad market, because my belief is that in the long run, I'm going to make better profits if I dive in a bad market. But if you have dived in a good market and then the real estate market slows down, like you're finding now, because of the high interest rates, people are having to buy property at as high as 9%, 11%, double digit in some cases. Some cases you can get 9%, as against typical 4-5%. That's created a bad market for real estate, because a lot of buyers are scared of buying. So now you have a $180,000 potentially worth of fix and flip, and you're looking for who will buy it. Okay, maybe at the end of the day you may have to just sell that property for just $130,000 or $140,000, reducing your profit from $60,000 to as low as maybe $10,000 or $20,000. Is this making sense at all? Are we learning at all? Okay, because, and let me tell you why you might still just have to do that. If you keep it, remember you're still having to pay mortgage on the property, right? So you will have to still pay mortgage at, again, if it depends on the rates, whether it's the type you decide to buy, your lender gave you a fluctuating rate. So Big Slimmy says, I don't get it. Big Slimmy, can you specify what part don't you get? so that I'm sure of how to answer you well. Okay, Big Slimmy, what part don't you understand? So let me go back again and just do a recap so you understand. If you buy a property that you want to use for fix and flip, you got the property for 100,000, and we're just using this for an example. You got the property for $100,000. Now you fix it for $20,000 with the hope of selling the property for $180,000, making $60,000 profit. But between the time you bought the property and the time you're done with the renovation of the property, okay, you then have a situation where you could have a bad market where interest rate has risen, like what is going on right now in the US. The interest rate is high, and a lot of people are scared to buy property at the moment. A lot of people are just thinking, maybe I'll just rent. I'm not sure I want to buy property at this moment because of the interest rate. So, and of course you have inflation as well. So what then happens is you may end up now having that property in your hands because you are not getting a buyer, and there's a holding cost for you because you have to every month pay the mortgage. Remember, the property is 100,000, but typically it depends on the lender. Maybe you deposited 10%, which was 10,000, and the lender gave you 90,000, or you deposited 20,000, the lender gave you 80,000. Okay, in some cases you deposited 5,000, and the lender gave you 95,000. So now you are having to pay mortgage, and this is also another thing that I tell people when you're doing fix and flip or real estate in general. The best time sometimes is not always good not to put enough down payment for a property, okay, because it might affect your mortgage. And like in this particular case, let's assume you got a good lender who was willing to risk it and gave you up to 90,000, and you only deposited 10,000. That means the mortgage every month will be way higher. Now you have a bad market. Nobody is willing to buy the property from you even after you renovated it. Okay? And so you're struggling to then flip the property. I hope you understand the bad news. Now, if it's clear, just type, "This is clear, I understand it." Just want to be sure you got that part. Now, what is the solution to this bad market? I mean, this bad news, because every bad news has a solution and there are strategies around it. But do you understand the likelihood of losing or the challenges you could face? If you understand, just type "I understand." Good. Now, the strategy that I recommend in this case is to make sure that even though you're trying to do fix and flip, okay, always structure your deal in such a way that you can immediately get tenants on the property, even if you don't get a buyer. So that when you eventually even get a buyer, you are able to tell your buyer, "Hey, one of the good news is that I've even gotten you a tenant on the property. So subsequent year, the tenant is just paying you, it's not even subsequent year because people pay every month here. Okay? So once you buy, the next following month, the tenant is paying the rental income straight to you. So what this could do is a situation where the tenant is helping to carry the holding costs for you. I hope this makes sense. So this is the solution to the challenge of you buying the property and then you're struggling to sell it, because your goal is, you remember, is fix and flip. I buy and I flip it. Now, what if I'm not able to flip it? I must, from day one, have a plan to immediately get tenants for that property while I'm waiting for whoever we eventually buy the property from. I hope this makes sense, guys. If it makes sense, just type "it makes sense," it makes sense, right? I must have a strategy to get a tenant, okay, once I'm done fixing the property while I'm waiting for my flipping. It helps to reduce my holding cost on that property, such that I then know that, hey, even if I'm not able to sell it on time, my tenant's monthly payment is part of what I'm then using to pay for the mortgage on the property. Number two, solution to this bad news is also that you drop a substantial down payment. Okay? Because again, if you didn't drop something substantial, what your tenant is paying you is not enough to cover the mortgage. Because what I prefer to do is a deal where what my tenant is paying me is more than my mortgage. That's when you know you've done a good deal. I tell people, whatever type of real estate you're doing, as long as it's for investment, you've only done a good deal when what your tenant is paying you, okay, is more than enough to cover your mortgage. Best deal are the types where your mortgage is, for example, $2,000, okay, but the rental income coming from that property is, I'm just giving an example, $3,000 or $3,500. So you know that you have potentially $1,500 in profit. Now, you are not even desperate to sell. So yesterday I shared with you a story. One of my speakers tomorrow, she's going to be Maria, will be giving you more details about this. She's teaching you on I said tomorrow on Saturday. So Saturday, which is 6th of January, we have a real estate, we call it Diaspora Real Estate Wealth Conference here in the US. However, you can join us from everywhere in the world because it's a hybrid event, okay? And Maria will be sharing with you a lot more about fix and flip. And Maria was sharing with me yesterday, one of our clients, and I think I shared this with you yesterday. The clients, she was able to get the clients over 50 units. Everybody say 50 units. And I love this. I love commercial real estate, right? Multifamily is very good. I know some of you, again, will look at all of this on Saturday. And like I said, whether you're joining physically here in Katy or you're joining virtually, we have made sure the experience is so rich that you won't even miss it at all. We got an LED screen, and we have a streaming company coming about to stream. So both those of you physically around and those joining virtually, it's just going to be a very powerful immersion, and you're just going to enjoy it. So over 50 units actually, for about over $2 million. Now, she also got a lender for the client who was able to give the person mortgage on the property. Now, according to her story that she was sharing with me, and fantastic, I told her, I said, I need this deal. Get me a deal like this. I'm interested. She was able to, the rental income on the mortgage on the property was over $25,000, about $25,000. However, the rental income was over $40,000. You see what I'm talking about? A good deal, right? So he's paying $25,000 to the lender every month. But what the tenants on the over 50 properties are paying him is over $40,000. You see wisdom here. After he of course, he fixed it. Now, at the end of the day, he was able to then flip the same property for $5 million. Everybody type $5 million. Thereby making a potential profit of $2 million. Of course, there are other deductions here and there, but all things being equal, we're just putting those figures for the purpose of training, right? Is this making sense at all? So when you're doing fix and flip, number one, bad news is that it might be difficult for you to sell it. Okay? But the good news to combat that bad news is to make sure that you renovate the property in a way that you can immediately rent it out while you are looking for who will buy it. And do it in such a way, or go for a property that you will be able to, of course, get more rental income than you are paying, than what you are paying as mortgage on a monthly basis. That way, your tenants pay your mortgage on the property, and you are not desperate to sell the property. I hope this makes sense. If it makes sense, just type "it makes sense." It makes sense. Come on, guys, talk to me. If this training makes sense, type "this makes sense." This makes sense. So you're able to get, of course, your tenant to then pay your mortgage, and that just solves your problem, and you won't be desperate to sell it at any time. I hope this makes good sense. Okay? Beautiful. Another powerful bad news when it comes to fix and flip, and that's why again I'm warning you, don't do this business without proper mentorship, without good mentors who will hold your hand. Don't do it. Another bad news is your contractor. Everybody type contractor. Okay? Come on, guys, type contractor. If you don't have a good contractor who will help you renovate that property, and the definition of good here is not about doing a good job in terms of renovation. The definition of good here is about the time. Okay? The time. So, in this part of the world, once you start a construction, okay, there are holding costs to that construction. Whether, you decide to do construction or not, as long as you're in construction mood, there are bills that will be coming. And so if your contractor says, I'm going to finish the renovation in 2 weeks, typically you get maybe 6 weeks, right? And then that 6 weeks, and we've seen it many times, the 6 weeks turn to 12 weeks, guys. Guess what? All your profits, all your profit on that deal, Otilo, right? Practically gone, because there was delay in the renovation or in the fixing. Okay? So when it comes to fix and flip, you having a contractor, that's why I said good contractor here, when it comes to fix and flip, is not about somebody who did a good job. Rather, it's about somebody who is able to do the job on time. Because if it delays, you're losing money, and you're losing a lot of money. And that's just going to mess you up big time and wash away a good number of your profits on that deal. So you need to have a contractor that work within budget and work on time. Are we learning here? If you're learning type, I'm learning. Come on, talk to me. If you're learning type, I'm learning. So you have to get a good contractor who can work within budget and work within the timeline that has been given. Else, it will be a major issue. Now, what is the good news to solve that problem? Okay? Or how do you solve that problem? Look for credible people who have done fix and flip in the location you're about to do it. Okay? And then get to use their own tested and trusted contractor. Now, hear this, and let me be clear. Okay? America is a capitalist society. The major enemy of your success in America is wanting things to be done for you free. If you want to become rich in this part of the world, be willing to pay for good services. Stop expecting people to do you things for free because you've known each other back in Africa. Okay? You will not get the best. So if you're meeting anyone, right, he's been doing fix and flip over time. Now you're about starting it in the same city. Okay? let the person know, I'm about starting this. How much do I need to pay you? Okay? So that you can help me get the same guys that work with you. You even help me do the negotiation with them. Okay? And I will just be following you. We even assume you are the owner of the project. And I will see how you're dealing with them. You kind of will rehearse the entire way you deal with these guys, so I can learn. I have a project here in the US, and I reach out to somebody who's done many of such projects before. Okay? And I said to him, I need you on this. I will even, either you help me employ staff here. Okay? And I'll be paying them salary, or whatever way you want it to do. And I got, he sent me a message today and said, hey, I'm going to be charging you $250 an hour. Everybody say $250 an hour. Come on, everybody type $250 an hour. And his answer was, I'm going to get one of the interns I've already trained in this. Okay? That way, I'm not working too hard, and I'll just be following up with the intern, and the person will be able to do the job you need done. Do you know I did not negotiate? All I said is that give me a breakdown of what will be done for each of the hours. I did not even negotiate it. Now, those of you who live in the US, you know what I mean. $150 an hour is not a joke. I hope you know that. An average person earns $20, $30 an hour. If you get a job of $70 an hour, you are extremely rich. I hope you agree with me. If you agree with me, those of you who live in the US, just type very true. Come on, confirm this. A $70 an hour job is a big time good job. True or false? Okay, come on guys, talk to me. So now somebody wants to charge me $250 an hour. Okay, and I'm not even wasting my time trying to negotiate, because if you really get the job done, I will make far more, right? Way far more. And this is the problem of a lot of people in diaspora. You want people to teach you how they've made it. You want to, get their knowledge, but you don't want to pay. Right? Or you even call them. I even see people who say, those who are charging for their own services, for their wisdom. You even see someone say scammer. Right? I'm marketing a book, and someone say, can you imagine? If I have this kind of money, I won't even need to read the book. And I reply, I say, that's why you are poor. Because in your mind, a book is cost, we have this book combo of about 10 books. Right, and I'm doing a promo for it. I think it's going for $147 or so. The person converted it to Nigerian Naira, and he's saying, if I have this kind of money, I won't need the book. And I'm like, you see how foolish somebody can be to think that having maybe 200,000 Nigerian Naira makes you a rich person. Obviously, that can't make you rich in any way. Okay? So it's always important to be willing to pay because that's the solution. Else, you may end up using 3 contractors on one project, and you may end up even suing yourself, and all of you are going to court. A friend of mine shared how just to repair a gate, just to fix a gate to his house, right? The contractor he got, he collect charge, of course, but the material he used was so inferior, the gate wasn't working well, and he refused to pay the balance. And guess what? The contractor took him to court. Okay? For refusing to pay balance of something he did not even do well. So you have to face the reality that like somebody said, if you think education is expensive, okay, why not try ignorance? Because you're going to pay a lot more, okay, if you are trying to, be ignorant and you say, oh, education is too expensive, ignorance is better. You try ignorance and you see which one eventually is more expensive at the end of the day. So to solve having a terrible contractor, look for a mentor who is already doing fix and flip in the city you are trying to do it. Come up with a mutually beneficial agreement, right, that allows that person to make something. Okay, don't be greedy, don't be selfish. Allow the person make something. If I from day one, let the person know you've been in this business. Can I work with your contractors, right? I'm willing, to pay you something for you to introduce me to your contractor, and if you all help me in the process of the bidding and picking contractors, and I want you, help me out with this whole first project. How much do I pay? You will always become wealthy if you are willing to pay for people's wisdom. The Bible says, buy wisdom, sell it not. The biggest reason the poor remains poor is that poor persons always want wisdom for free. Let me say that again. One of the reasons why poor people remain poor is that poor people are always wanting to get wisdom for free. Typically, it's not even just wisdom. A typical poor person is always wishing to reap where he did not sow. A typical poor person is always wishing, to get things for free. An average rich man or woman, you do your research, is always willing to pay. In fact, the conversation starts with, how much do I pay to get this? And once you use the word, how much do I need to pay, you will see that people of value are willing to work with you. But when you think that they should service you for free, they should do things for free, that's where you miss it. I remember I wanted a particular pastor to come speak for me. It was a virtual event. And he's a pastor most of you know. Tell me, are you here? I can bring you up if you want to come up. Tell me, should I bring you up? If you want me to bring you up, just type bring me up. This is a very big pastor from Nigeria, but he's based here in the US now. And I needed him to speak. It was a virtual event. And he charged me $3,000. In fact, I remember the friend that linked me up with him said he confirmed. He said to me, my friend is going to charge you. I said, I don't mind paying. Right? And he did not even speak to me until I had paid for the event. After I paid for the event, guess who called me? And we had almost an hour conversation, because now he knows I mean business. I'm not wanting to waste his time. I'm not asking him to come and teach my audience. Okay, and I'm not paying him. Poor people are always looking for things for free. That's why they remain poor. Rich people are willing to pay for wisdom. They are willing to pay. They are asking that question, what do I need to pay to know what you know? What do I need to pay to be who you are? I'm always seeing people reach out to me every day, guys. And all I hear is, Dr. Stephen, I admire your life. Dr. Stephen, I want to be like you. Dr. Stephen, I want to be wealthy. And this is where they miss it often. I hardly hear them say, what is the price you paid to be who you are today, Dr. Stephen? I am now ready to pay the same price. I hardly hear such. All they even want to hear me say is that I'm lucky. Some people say, Dr. Stephen, you are lucky. I admire your luck. I am happy for your grace. Or Dr. Stephen, let me tap into anointing. And I just keep laughing. Ask anybody who is doing well, is paying a price. So ask them. To rise to the top. Have you learned something today about US, but like I said, it's the same concept and it works.
Hi.
Make sure that.
Can you hear me?
The solution to that is to make sure that
Dr.
the
Stephen, I
property
admire your
is
life.
ready
You inspire
for rent.
me. You are
So that
lucky.
even if you are not able,
Guys, can
even
you
if you are
hear me?
not
Is it my end
able
or his
to
end?
sell the property you just
The global
fixed
icon says bad
immediately,
network.
what then will
Is it my
happen is that
end
you will be
or
able
DSA's
to
end? Please let me know.
rent it out, and the money coming from the rental
Oh, okay.
will be good. Tell me, how are you?
I'm
Are
good.
you in a studio? You look
For
like
a
you're ready
while.
for
I
this.
think we lost you for a while. Even now, it's still glitching a bit.
What is happening now?
Okay, well, I can hear you now, but I think some time ago you had bad network. People could hear me, but they could not hear you.
Really?
Yes, but
I
you're
mean,
back now.
okay. Maybe it
People
was
said
the.
that you had bad network, but we can hear you now. So you were saying that Dr. Stephen, I admire you. Dr. Stephen, you are lucky. Dr. Stephen.
But they are not ready to make the sacrifices Dr. Stephen
Okay,
is
I have
making.
two questions for you, doctor. How are you? Good evening. Good to
Good
see
evening.
you.
Good to, I said you look like you're in a better studio than me, sir. That's been. I'm, wo-
Definitely.
I'm wondering. I'm
You're on the
wondering
road.
who is doing the event. Is it me or you?
It's us now, both of us. We are doing the event. All right, so I have two questions for you. The first question is maybe three, but I could just put it into two. So you are teaching us a lot in this class, and honestly, I've taken some things away about the flipping method of investing in real estate. You've talked about the bad news of losing money, value, and all of that, and then bad contractors and so on. And
Yeah.
you were very right where you said it's not about getting the job done,
Yeah.
but getting the job done on time, because time is of essence, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask, what more should we expect on Saturday, and how can we register for the Saturday event? I think if people asked that, how do you register? What's the link to sign up? Is there a discount for those of us who are live right now who can, take advantage of? I know we've ended the early bird discount, but is there anything you can do for people who are here right now? That's my first question to you. So when you are done with that, I'll take my second question.
Well, good question. Thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. So the event is you're going to be learning a lot because we have 6 powerful speakers that are training on Saturday. So there's just so much from fix and flip. We're learning real estate development. We're learning financing real estate. Different speakers teaching different things. I will be focusing more on the passive side. So how do you create a passive income? Because there's also that side. A lot of times people say to me, Dr. Steven, I don't want the
We
wahala
can't see.
of
Okay.
doing, I don't want the wahala of doing real estate. Me, I just want to put in my money and I get the income. I don't want this headache of, I'm still um, paying for tax, paying mortgage, all of those stuff. So there's so much to learn from how to leverage on credit to do real estate here in the US. Because a lot of people are just here and all they're using credit for is to buy a new car, is to get a mortgage. They are in 2 bedroom. They now want to live in 5 bedroom. And the house we live in is not an asset, it's a liability,
Yep.
right? So rather than you getting a mortgage for the sake of investment, so that your tenant helping you with passive income. These are the areas people need to focus on. So we're going to be learning all of these and more on Saturday.
Awesome.
Yeah. And people can attend both physically or virtually.
Yep.
The events.
And the
Of course,
link to sign up is
www. For whatever
www.stephenakintayo.
reason, I think IG is bouncing it off, but you try and type it if it works, I'll pin it.
Okay.
StephenAxel.com/diaspora
Diaspora
REC. REC.
Yes.
You can, of course, send me a DM,
Okay.
and I give you the flyer, and you can register on the site.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are to increase the price.
That's right.
Tomorrow. So I think when you ask about discount, anybody who really is serious, they should go register.
By now, they should have locked down their spot.
Exactly. So whether you're attending physically here in the Westin Houston Memorial Hotel here in Houston, or you want to attend virtually from anywhere in the world, and like I said, tell me you are where we spent over $12,000 for just media equipment alone, LED, and the reason we did that, this is aside venue, this is aside other bills, and the reason why we did that was because we wanted the experience of those who are joining virtually to almost be the same as those who are in the venue. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be very engaging, very exciting for you to attend. But it's going to be great. I really encourage you to start the year with a great training like this.
Yes.
It's just going to be amazing.
Okay. So I also tried to put in the link, and it also bounced out.
Yes.
So I guess that's an Instagram thing. But the link is stephenakintayo.com/diaspora-rec.
Yeah.
So it's REC. It's like Real Estate Conference. That's actually the meaning there. So it says comment failed to post. So it's not posting. Diaspora Rec. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Stephen. My second question to you is, say we have somebody here on this call who is not saying you are lucky, who is not saying help me, admire your life, help my destiny, but the person is actually really ready to make the investment, both in time and the money investment and the energy investment, the time, the money, and the energy. And they say they want this year to be a different year for them. They want to hit the ground running this January. Yeah. What can they do? What do you have for such people?
Beautiful question. So I think the first thing they need to do is to, look for how, if I'm the one they are considering, and I would love to help them in that journey, is to look for how they can immerse themselves in the knowledge that I know. Because, of course, I meet people who almost think that this thing is just some anointing, the way religion has affected our people. And they just think I can just lay hands on them, and before you know, they begin to buy property in Nigeria, in Dubai, in US, in UK.
They blow like fuse.
They blow, and I'm like, hey, I believe in the place of being anointed and unction, and obviously I've enjoyed grace. But you see, faith without work is dead. So the beginning of that work is know what I know, at least know a measure of what I know. And that begins with buying books. We did a combo around all my books. That begins with attending seminars that I have. One of them is this real estate one on this Saturday. And if you look at the richness of the speakers, 6 speakers, right? And they're covering different aspects. It's just really, really loaded. and we're going to make sure it's global. So yes, we will use case study of America, but there are things you can do in Dubai, you can do in US, you can do in UK, you can do in Canada, or any part of the world. So that's for me the proof that you're serious. I mean, people are willing to buy wig. People are willing to
To do
to
jobs, to do body
to to
jobs.
to do their nails, but they are not doing their destiny, right?
Mm,
People are
mm,
willing to wear designers, and they are not. So it has you. And I've said this to me many times. I have made up my mind. I am no longer going to invest in people who are not willing to invest in
invest in
themselves.
themselves.
You have to
Right,
show
right,
that I am willing,
right,
right?
right.
I am taking a step, even if it's baby step. I am
Mm,
committed. I am determined to
mm,
change my life.
right,
Don't waste your time and energy, trying to help people who don't want to help themselves.
right.
It's just the reality. There are some people who have decided to slide into the victim mode.
Mm,
Everybody's bad. Everybody's trying to scam them. Everybody's trying to play game. I put out posted a vacancy on my page. The Nigerian company needed video editors, drone guys. So the HR term was that they'll give you one video. If you edit it well, then they'll give you 20 more videos. Somebody came and posted scam.
wow.
Why did he post scam? He said, first of all, remember the vacant advert said, we'll give you one video, and then if you do it well, we'll give you 20. The person, first of all, read it that we wanted him to edit 20
For
videos for free.
free.
Right? Now, he did not waste his time to talk to the HR,
Mm.
to have conversation with the HR and say, okay, what's going on here?
How much
These
will
are
you
my
pay for
even
the 20? Blah,
yes,
blah,
even
blah.
the one video, if you then like it, can it be added to the 20 that you are paying me for? So some people are not willing to invest in
At
themselves.
all.
And I've learned over the years, stop wasting your time with such people. Most of us
Right.
who are speakers, who are trainers, who are entrepreneurs, and we play all this, I want to help people, I want to help people. You better know the type of people
You
to
want
help.
to help.
I have
Right.
learned that there's difference between Arsenal and Man City. We have
Mm.
about 2 minutes to wrap up. Yeah. Arsenal will buy young players, very young players. They don't have any experience, they don't have any background, but they have skill. They will buy them and then groom them. By the time Arsenal will even want to start enjoying the benefits, a bigger club will come and
I've
buy them.
bought the.
So hardly does Arsenal win trophy. But Man City led by Pep Guardiola. Guardiola has mastered the art of, he's not interested in talent. You must
Oh
you
my
must
God.
have shown some level of success.
And
You must already
maturity.
be a star. Then
Right.
Guardiola will then buy
Come
you and then
on.
use Man City money.
To
Man
polish you.
City's
Well done.
to take the thing to the next
Next
level.
level. Well done.
And
Well
I've
done.
learned that at a face, that's what you should be doing. No,
So are you saying that you are still being Arsenal and now you're now becoming Man City? Is that
no, definitely Man
it?
City. I have done too much. I've spent the last 20 years doing Arsenal, mentoring people from university days. In
Right.
fact, I was with a pastor in Lagos, and I just saw one of my school daughters on campus, and she just told me, yeah. So I said, come, let's go and eat. She said, no, I can't leave my Oga. I said, who's your Oga? She mentioned the pastor. I said, I'm one of the top pastors in Lagos. I said, that's your boss. Say, yeah, Miss P. And I was like, wow. So another of my colleague in the office now said, do you remember the day this girl was
Your line is
about to be
breaking.
married? It's from your end, Timmy. I think it's your network this time around.
Your
Not
line
mine.
broke off.
It's
We didn't hear
your
you. You said
network this
one of
time
the top
around, not
pastors,
my own.
so and so. Then we lost you.
Timmy, is your network this time
Oh,
around, not mine.
okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
It's yours.
Okay.
But so this particular story, you know,
Guys, if you can hear Doctor, please let us know in the chat. If you
can you hear me, Tammy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I said this particular lady, you know, she was my school daughter in the university. You know, I pastored on campus.
Right.
So when I saw her, it was like after many, many years, I was like, oh, in fact, it was at Sheraton. I said, let's go and eat. I said, no, I'm with my boss. I said, who's your boss? She mentioned the pastor, one of the top pastors in Nigeria. And I really said, I'm his PA. I was like, wow, interesting. So we then left. One of my other colleague, he works with me, but also they were together. They were both my school son and school daughter in the university, but he works with me. He then said, do you remember the day this girl's boyfriend wanted to rape her and they called you in the dead of the night? And you gathered us to our hostel.
Wow. Look at that.
You know, to go and defend. I have totally forgotten. Right. So I can tell you I'm Arsene Wenger.
You've been paying your dues for
decades. But at
decades.
this phase of my life, I want to be Pep Guardiola.
Okay, so afford anything. They are still raw, they are unpolished. A good place for them to start would be your free content, your YouTube videos, your Facebook live sessions, your IG live sessions. The DM is not where they should start from. The DM Absolutely. Is not for them. Please don't waste your time with the DM, especially when you now say hello. Please don't do that. It's a new year. Leave those things behind. Okay, so a good place to start would be on the YouTube channel, IG live streams, posts, and all of that. That would be a good place to start. And then as you grow, you can move into the books, into the Stephen Akitayo University. Great place for you to get started. And then when you know you have the means, you know, the money and everything to afford it, then you can send a DM, and definitely DSA can have you on one of his one-on-one coaching programs. DSA, please speak a little. I know your time is almost off. Just speak in 30 seconds about what people can get from your one-on-one coaching. I believe you have a 6 months or a 3 months coaching. What do they get from that? And who is it for specifically? Who are the kind of players you are looking for at that level?
Yeah, thank you for that. And by the way, Temi wants to work with me on this, and I'll be excited to have her come on board for this. So I have a one-on-one coaching for 6 months for real estate developers and top CEOs. In fact, if your company is not doing at least $200,000, you are not the candidate for that program. And the reason is because what we discuss at that level is top level conversations. How do you get future on Forbes, right? So, guy, if your business is not even doing 200,000 above, I'm not sure Forbes want to even write your story, right? So, how do you, expand globally? Right? If you don't have certain kind of money, you can't open a new office in Dubai or a new office in US or in UK. So it's a top level for top CEOs. And that's why I do a lot. I have a retreat now that I do every 3 months. I do retreat with CEOs. Because my story, is really an outlier. How do you start a business with $10 and you've gone global? The project, Victor was speaking with me 2 days ago. I said, I hope you know this is a $150 million project.
Wow.
He passed by the Katie property. Right. I said, I hope you know this is the 150. I said, yeah, that's the estimated budget we're working on in the next 7 years. So how do you then begin to dare projects like that? So those are high level conversation. But yes,
Conversations.
you can send a DM,
Yes.
and I will love, and I'm excited about that because I feel my energy is best used at such conversation, because now you have, let's say, 50 staff. This is a conversation that can grow you to now have 300 employees, 500 employees. I'm able to really impact even
Yeah.
more. I mean, years ago, my spiritual mentor used to say, "So many of you want me to sit with you for hours to mentor you. I'm sorry, I can't do that. 5 minutes prayer. Go and read my book." I used to feel like, what kind of pastor talks like this? But today I understand that, because my spiritual mentor, of course, still talks to people, from Reverend Sam, Pastor Pastor Paul Eneche, David Biome. He does one-on-one with them. But at that level, he knows that sitting down and doing one-on-one with such a person, this is somebody who has, 200,000 followers under him. So it's even more effective than to be sitting down with everybody who probably just 50
Yeah.
people. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Absolutely. I
it's
get
a
that.
space.
Okay, so guys, see you on Saturday at Houston. Okay, so somebody was asking if you are in the US. Yes, he's in the US, and he'll be here very, very often this year. So expect expect to see him more and more in the
I'm
US.
not
So
an
come,
Americana. Yo, man.
yeah.
Yo. We're Lakers, man. We're Lakers, huh? Lakers, yeah, yo.
Earlier on when you said 1,500, I said, what? Yes, it's speaking like Americans right now because where you came from, it is 1,500. It's not 1,500. Right?
I know.
So I hear
I
15,
know.
I'm like, you're already American already. 1,500. Okay.
I don't have a choice. I'm doing a $150 million
Then
project.
you say, so
My,
you come
my
here in
assets
Katy.
better
I said,
change.
the first day you came, it was Katy. You are calling this. Now it is Katy. I said, okay, you are coming on
My
so.
assets better change. Not with the kind of project we are doing here in Keri.
In
My assets
Katy.
must change.
It's not Katy anymore. All right. It's been a pleasure being on the call today with you. Thank you so much. So, guys, go to www.stephenakintayo.com/diaspora rec, REC, and sign up to join us live at Houston or online. The online experience is going to be so smooth. You will love it. You won't miss out on anything. Okay. So, come in live. In the room, we can't take more than about 100 people. But online, we have accommodation for at least 500 people. So
Yeah.
snag your seat, okay? Lock down your spot and be there. Don't be told, okay? It's too early in the year to be missing out on opportunities. Don't do that to yourself. It's too early.
And I want to say to those who are on call physically, if you don't book your ticket on time, you might not even have a seat, because like she said, it's a smaller arrangement for physical attendance, but larger for virtual. So
Yeah.
if you really want to come physically, get your ticket now.
Today, this
Else
moment.
you may
Yes.
just come and there's no tape chair for you.
And then we'll close it up. All right, then. Thank you,
Yeah.
DSA. Pleasure being here. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
for adding, your energy and electricity to the conversation.
What can I say?
Bye bye, guys. Love you.
Bye-bye.